Welcome to Trail Manners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for Trail Manners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails. Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast, episode number 17. Today, we're going to be talking about crewing. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Trail Manners Podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Trail Manners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome back to the Trail Manners Podcast. This is an exciting day for me. Joel, where are we at?
We're back in the bus.
We are back in Studio 78, sitting at Beus Trailhead, and it is raining.
That's right. It's better than snow.
That's right, and it's game on because we don't care about the rain because we have a special episode for you, and the rain actually plays really well into it. In fact, our guest this morning, who we won't announce yet,
right?
Although you'll probably read it before you listen to it.
Yep.
He was basically saying, this is perfect because this is what I had to crew in last year. Or
2 years ago.
2 years ago. 2 years ago. Yeah. So
the rain bear.
We're just happy to be back. We're happy to be back with episode 17.
That's right.
Unreal. And really it's, 18 podcasts because we had 0 episode. So before we get started, we just want to remind everybody over on the Trail Manners website, we got some pretty sweet gear.
Yeah.
And the Boco hats.
Oh, they're so nice.
Guess what, though? Out of stock.
Are they really?
Out of stock. We've got another order coming, but it's going to take like 4 weeks.
Okay.
So sorry if you missed the first round. They're super spicy, super hot.
Yep.
We actually had Brad Sween, take a photo of his cool Trail Manners hat on top of Mount Air this week. And it turned out awesome. So thank you for your support there. So there's other stuff on there. We got some sweet shirts, lots of other trucker hats. We got that Flex Fit hat that is selling hot right now.
Yeah.
It's super comfy.
For all you guys with big noggins.
Yeah,
that's the one to go with.
Yep, the big craniums, the big skulls. So we got that going. So we'd love to see you with your pictures of that, whatever you're doing out and about with those things. But we'd like to take a minute too and send some thoughts and some good wishes to McKay.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the story here, he's the gentleman that horse packs the aid and water and food at El Vaquero Loco.
Right.
So it's one of Ty Draney's guys, and he was involved in an accident last week. And so there's a site set up to help fund the expenses for that. And we just want to say we wish you well. We hope you're back because we've run the race, and without you, that race would not be impossible, but it would be really, really rough.
Yeah, it would be very hard not to have that aid station there at the horse corrals.
And you always have that smiling face helping you out all the time. Super good conversation.
Yeah.
So we want to definitely send a shout out to that. We also want to remind you that we will be in a couple weeks out on the Antelope Island for the Buffalo Run.
That's
25K, 50K, 50 mile, 100 mile.
Yep.
The plan is to have Studio 78 set up somewhere near the finish line, have a canopy out, maybe have an ice chest with beverages.
Yep.
And you can come over, say hi. We're going to be running a few shows from that.
Yeah.
So
if you want to be on the show, hit us up beforehand.
Yeah, hit us up. If you want to talk about something, come on over. We're going to throw a few special episodes out. And you know what? I think I'm going to bring some gear for people that just want to buy some on the spot.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. Save a little shipping cost and save us some shipping costs. They ain't gonna hurt that way.
That's right.
And Joel, why don't you tell people about, because we have a contest going right now. We've had Sebastian enter with some Pacer stories, which was hilarious with the dog and the soup. And I'll let people go on Facebook and read that. So that contest is going. We still have 2 weeks left of the hashtag peak thing.
Oh, yeah.
We got 2 weeks on that. But, Joel, we've got an awesome contest with an awesome prize coming up.
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about Vaquero Loco and Scout Mountain Ultra just because we really believe in those races. We think the race directors are top-notch guys. And I got a call earlier in the week from a guy up in Idaho, David Tarkelson. I'm sorry if I totally butchered your last name, but David up there in Twin Falls, he called me. He said, "Hey, I want to redo my website for this little half marathon I got. Can you hook me up?" And of course, I'm going to hook him up because I want everybody to have a nice, pretty website. So we got to talking, and David's a super nice guy, like most trail runners are. And he also is one of the race directors for the Beaverhead 100K and 50K, which is up in Salmon, Idaho.
Oh.
And he's got a video on his website, on his homepage. The beaverheadenduranceruns.com. So go check that out, and you'll get a course preview of the 100K and the 50K. And it looks super rad because it's all mostly above tree line.
Oh, that area is so... I've been up there twice, and it's beautiful in that area.
I didn't realize I wanted to run it until I saw the video.
That's kind of how it works when you see stuff, right? Yeah.
So now, being the sucker I am, I'm going to run it.
Are you?
Yeah. Nice. So one more race to the
When
schedule.
is that, Joel?
That's July 9th.
Oh, God, that's my birthday.
It is
July
your birthday.
9th. I'll be 32 on July 9th. Give or take shipping and handling.
That's right. So being the super rad dude that David is, he threw out a race entry. So you can have a free race entry to either the 50K or the 100K. And folks, if you win this, make sure that you can go run it.
Yeah,
right?
this is a good prize. Legit. Don't waste it for someone that wants to. And
now, we need to clear something up here because we're starting to give out race entries, and we want to set some ground rules. If you've won a race entry this year, 2016, you cannot win again. So that means Ashley Maudsley, you can't win again.
No soup for you.
No, but you can win some gear or something else. That's fine with us, but just no more race entries. So one a year, I think, is good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think so, too. So get on Facebook. Leave a comment like Beaverhead 100K or Beaverhead 50K, and we'll draw a name probably next week and announce the winner next week.
Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll kind of give an idea what you do to win that. But what we'd like to see, even from Ashley, whoever wins this next one, any race entry we give out would be awesome to have a race report.
Yeah,
right?
that would be nice.
So it's like homework,
yeah.
right? I mean, it's free, but come on. Give a race report. Give a shout out to the race directors,
right? Because we're not going to give a race, away like an entry away to a race that we don't feel is going to be worth your time.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
You want to say all trail races are great, but there's some out there you're just kind of like, nah.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that one. But this one you're going to want to do.
Yeah, this
especially
is
after you see the video.
Yeah, and I don't dare go see it now because I'm
super
already
duper rad. So Dave, he's got that race. He also has that little outlawtrailrun.com. So if you go there, you'll see his little half marathon that he's got. And that thing is like south of Twin Falls, Idaho, kind of out in the boonies.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, maybe 2 hours from us.
Yeah,
something like that.
2.5, depends on how fast you drive,
right.
weather.
I think Eric and I, we won't be able to go up to that one because we're probably going to go do some adventure run that weekend. But that's in, I think, the second weekend of August.
Yeah. I think it's a week after Vaquero.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
We got something planned right now, so we can't come up there to run that. But he's got a video, which is cool.
Yeah.
He kind of takes his GoPro out, and he shows you the course so you know what you're in for. And it looks like a super cool little race. And it's just a half marathon.
Yeah,
and there's not a whole lot of those out there around our area, at least.
Yeah, for sure. At trail-wise,
Yeah.
And if you go up to Twin Falls, I'm going to throw this out there, which is kind of off the cuff, but if you go to Twin Falls, please do yourself a favor and go to 9 Beans in a Burrito.
Oh, there we go.
That is the greatest bean burrito I've ever tasted in my life, and it is good.
Oh, I like that local knowledge. That's awesome.
It is, and it's awesome. And how I came introduced to it is Scott Jaime took me there. Right. Scott Jaime has some bean burrito expertise.
Yeah.
And he'll admit that he took me there, and I was in love. They put mozzarella cheese in there. They make the tortillas on the spot.
Ooh.
And I came back through one time, and I bought, I think, 20 of them, and I shipped them to Scott Jaime in Colorado. They might have been soggy a little bit, but he had some, and I don't know if he ate all 20 or so because of the time frame, but they're that good.
Right.
So there's a little Twin Falls bean burrito shout out.
So this Outlaw Trail Run, it's up there by City Rocks, and if you've ever been up in that City Rocks area, it's pretty super rad. And I think we got time for this, but I got a nice story about City Rocks.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready?
We got it.
Yeah. Now, folks, if you're a little sensitive to some foul language, you might not want to listen to this section.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, definitely put some
Earmuffs.
earmuffs on.
Earmuffs.
Yeah. So this harkens back to like late 90s, like 98. I'm
Okay.
just getting into trail running. But primarily I was, snowboarding and climbing at the time. That was my thing. Loved it. But I had this buddy, Jeff Burke.
Uh-oh.
Now, Jeff Burke got into trail running about that time, and he ran Bighorn 50 and came in like second or third place.
Nice.
Super fast runner.
Yeah.
And he was telling me stories about, I'm going to go do this ultra. And at the time, I was like, that sounds awful. Why would you want to go do that when you can climb or ski, right?
Yeah, right.
And so we went over to the City of Rocks. And this is when I was living in Jackson. We went over to the City of Rocks to go climbing in like June, early June, right? So we're over there climbing one day, and this other guy, John Steinbauer, he was with us. And Jeff says, I got to go get some miles in because that race is coming up soon. And we're both like, John and I are like, whatever, dude, go for it. We're just going to climb all day and you go run. So John and I go back to camp because there's just super awesome car camping over at City Rocks. And Jeff comes back and he is a mess. Physically an emotional mess. And it wasn't long. He was only gone for a couple hours. And he has in his hand a rolled up magazine. And we're like, Jeff, what you got there? Oh, I found the magazine while I'm out running. Jeff, what magazine did you find? It's a copy of Freshman.
Hashtag that.
Whoa.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't see it coming.
We're
either.
out in the middle of nowhere, Idaho. Jeff's out running on these backcountry roads. And he finds a copy of Freshman.
Unbelievable.
The story gets better. Because, remember, Jeff's all frazzled. And we're like, dude, why are you a mess right now? He goes, well, I found this magazine, and as soon as I turned around, a badger started chasing me. So Jeff's trying to get back to the campsite with this copy of this magazine. And this badger is like on his heels, nipping at him. And he's just running down back roads with a copy of Freshman.
Sweet.
Badger chasing him. You can't get any better than a story like that.
You can't make it up.
No, you
can't.
can't make it up. That was just awesome.
There's a lot of badger stories out there. That's a good one.
I know.
Earmuffs off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that naughty story's over with.
All right, so we're gonna take a break because we have a special guest coming up. Last week we did a show on pacing,
Yep.
which I appreciate all the plays on that and people listening to that. But this one's gonna follow up on the pacing, kind of along the same category. This one's on crewing, which is also a huge vital piece to running, right?
Yep,
So
sure
whether
is.
it's crew pacing, I mean, it's just another tool you can use. It's another, something to have to help you out. So we'll come back with a crew member / crew, I don't know, team. I mean, one-man
the
show.
crew master.
Yeah, crew master, mixed master, crew master. So we'll come back with a special guest and we'll talk about crewing and hopefully answer all your questions. So stay tuned.
Hi, this is Scott Hyme, and you're listening to the Trail Manners Podcast, bringing you the dirt and the vert.
All right, welcome back to the Trail Manners Podcast. So today we're in Studio 78 at the Beus Canyon Trailhead. Today we're going to talk about crewing, and we brought on the crew chief, the crew master, Lane Farka. Lane, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's our pleasure.
It doesn't get any better than getting in the bus.
That's right.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw out real quick that Lane's also Studio 78's handyman mechanic too. So he's kind of got a couple different hats.
I got a lot of zip ties.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
He's the head crew for many things.
Duct tape.
So Lane has been, he's been around the crew world for the last couple of years because his wife runs ultras. And I don't know if it comes natural to you or if you did a little bit of studying up on this or you just were winging it, but you're one of like the best crews out there. And I think maybe after the show's over with, you might be able to set up your own services here. So but tell us a little bit how maybe you got into crewing and kind of your experience, and then we can maybe just go from there.
It's not a bad deal. I like your idea. Consulting a crew, right?
Yeah.
So $100 an hour, 36 hours. That pays for gas.
Yeah,
And-
especially in
and-
your truck.
And it's a PBR.
Yep.
I know it's hipster, but that's cool. I
Yep.
like it.
Joel can do your website.
Yeah.
That's right.
What's it going to be, though? Can we use a theme song?
Yeah.
We need a theme song.
We need a theme song like, this is how we crew it. It's Friday night. Something like that.
I'm in. You guys are crazy.
We can work on that
So
later.
I guess for me, it does come kind of natural because I'm an outgoing guy, right?
Right.
I'm here to party. That's
Yep.
what everyone says. So it's fun. I just enjoy being out there and helping everybody. We'll probably get into this later, but you meet a lot of cool people out there. You build relationships, and it's just easy for me because I'm just there to help. Whatever
And you just
anyone
got
needs.
into it because your wife was, doing
Exactly.
this nonsense that we all seem to have the sickness for.
It's not nonsense.
It can be sometimes.
You all make it look easy. There's no doubt about it.
Well, when you come into the aid station, you want to look good.
Yeah. And then when you leave, then you go back to...
Then you start crying.
Yeah, right.
And vomiting.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen crying and vomiting in the aid station, but
Yep.
I've seen Joel come in there about,
Looking hot.
300 miles an hour, looking
Yeah.
hot, sometimes a hot mess, but looking hot,
Definitely a hot mess. All the time.
breathing hard.
Yep. Gotta look good. That was Bear. I remember that.
Yeah, you look good. You came in there.
Yeah.
You came in there hot.
Yeah.
So no, it's good. I really enjoy it.
So when you crew, do you need... So you're driving your truck around, crewing, hitting aid stations, whatever. Do you do this solo? Do you have people with you? I mean, what's kind of the general routine?
So it depends. Hopefully we have Nana out there that could take the kids, so I can be solo. But when you say solo, I think that's something that you actually have to sit down and discuss with your racer, because you can get in a mess when you have pacers showing up, because a lot of times your runner counts on the crew to get the pacers where they need to be and pick them up and get them back to the Bear. You're shuffling them from, you at Tony's Grove, and you have to get them back over to, Beaver Mountain or wherever it is. I mean, You're shuffling people, but then you're trying to catch your runner, and then you got to drive up a road with, a single lane road with a million cars on it, and then you're worried about not getting there in time. So that kind of goes back into the planning and preparation, but I guess making sure that you are paying attention to time frames and how fast you are, and when your crew needs to be there and when your pacers need to be there. It depends on if you need one or two people and one or two cars.
True.
I mean, sometimes you have family up there that can help, or other pacers that drive, but generally it's your crew that's there to have your back the whole time, regardless of whether you're a 24-hour pace or 36.
So the crew person, it sounds like to me, the crew person is like the manager, right? They're like the project manager. And then you've got the pacers, and you got the runner, and the crew's trying to orchestrate everything during the day.
Yeah, I would agree. But I would say the crew can only do that with the help of the runner, right? So this is where it comes to preparation, which is probably something you may talk about later, or we'll just get into it right now. But I remember the very first race that I crewed for Debbie.
Right.
I panicked. Right.
What race was that?
It was the Bear when she went up. I mean, I crewed
it was the Rain Bear, right?
What was that?
It was the Rain Bear.
The Rain Bear.
It was
the
Rain Bear.
100, right?
Yep.
That was, the other ones, they're not super hard to crew if you're a 50 miler, or you're just out there hanging out taking pictures at a a temp or something like that. It's not a huge deal. But with the Bear, I mean, it's stressful. Remember that, runners. It's stressful for your crew, right? If it's your wife.
So why is
your
it
husband,
stressful though? So give us an example.
So I guess it's your very first race, right? And look, I know Logan. I know Logan Canyon. I'm familiar with all of that.
Right.
But then you start reading through these crew instructions on the website, and it says, hey, you have to go to Crowley, and there's a right-hand fork, and you have to turn here, and then take the second left, and then you go a half mile up a dirt road to see my man with the banjo out there, winging it with the straw in his hat, and take a left 10 steps past him, and then go another half mile, and you run into the aid station.
It's like a treasure map.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
It's a treasure map.
Sometimes it's choose your own adventure, which is why I bring my big truck with a big bumper. That's right. People probably know that.
That's Lane.
That asshole. I shouldn't say mute that. Beep it for me. But that guy kind of parks wherever he wants. But it can be stressful. I mean, if you are planning on having your wife or husband or friend crew you that has not been in the ultra scene, secretly they're panicking. They're not telling you because they know you're probably panicking about meeting your goal of this race, but they're panicking. So consider that when you're helping them. So Debbie, being the smart planner that she is, she built me a binder, right? Now, this only happened for the first race, so remember that. After that, it was like, you're on your own.
Right.
Buckle up. So she made me a binder that said Aid Station 1. It was in little plastic sleeves, and it had a little pace chart in there.
That's awesome.
That's fancy.
Yeah. And it said, this is how you get to this aid station. And it had the trail highlighted and, turn here. And I felt pretty good about that, right? And even with that, I still panicked a little bit. Driving up roads like, okay, I'm at a half mile, but it said a half mile, and I'm not seeing the turn.
Right.
Am I going to get there in time to get to my crew, or my runner, right? And I'm going to have time to prep their water and their meds or whatever they need, socks or squeaky cheeks. So you kind of freak out. And she was very well prepared, right? So just keep that in mind when you are planning to go run this race and you're using somebody not familiar with the scene. Secretly, they're panicking.
Right.
So that's something I think is personally crucial.
And if you have a chance to, as a crew, the driver, it's always nice to get out there if you have a chance, right? To get out to see some of the course beforehand, because
no doubt.
Because I know I've done some crewing and helped out with Scott Jaime and Rick Robinson, and I know the day before Leadville one time, Scott, we drove to the aid station just to know where I was going to be because I was lost. Number one, I was in Colorado and everything else, but I think that's also another key if you're going to crew. If you have the time, and again, it's a thankless job sometimes and takes time out of your day, but if you have time, check it out, right? Know where you can park, where you can't park, where the road is, like Lane said. Is it really a half mile or is it 3/4 of a mile? Because you do panic.
I think Lane brought up some important stuff. If, say that, the runner and the crew person, they've never, done
work together.
Yeah, work together. And that's what it is. It's work. It's on the runner to make that instruction booklet. Really it is. I think so. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. Cause
I think that's a good takeaway.
If you don't have them, you don't, like when you know somebody like Lane, he's crewed Debbie, he knows what's going on.
Yep.
Or if you know your runner, a lot of the times you can just have stuff ready. I'm going to say wing it, but you can kind of feel what they may or may not need. But if you don't know this person or you're new to it, that's hard.
Yeah, it was like last year I crewed Tara for the first time, right? And I had never crewed Tara before.
Right.
Tara's a rock star. She's fast. She cruises. She knows what her body needs. She has it all planned out. She had a plan. She gave me her time frame, but the way she did crew setup was a little bit different, right? So she said, all my drop bags are at the aid stations, every one of them.
Yeah.
And then here's my one bag for finish line clothes.
Right.
So with Debbie, it's, hey, here's all of my stuff.
Right.
Don't get in a crash or I'm going to be out there in the middle of nowhere with nothing, right?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So what do you want to do? What's your strategy? I mean,
Yeah.
there's different strategies on how, trustworthy your crew is, or if you never know, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah, but then
I've always been worried about that as a runner. If I'm entrusting my drop bags to the crew person, that would be really stressful.
So here's what I've done is my first 100, I had that problem. I left my crew with the bags, and the first aid station I came to, they hadn't arrived yet. I was a little early. There, obviously traffic reasons in some of these races. Like you just can't just drive straight up to it. There's
you didn't
tons
run
of
faster
people.
than you thought you were? That's what I would
did.
have said.
I ran faster.
Yeah,
I was like 3 hours ahead of time.
That was Joel at the Bear last year.
So I got in.
Hold on a second.
Smurf nuts.
Here's right behind Luke Nelson is Joel Hatch. Wait a second.
I was feeling it, folks.
But
feeling good.
I came into that aid station. My stuff wasn't there, so I had to borrow stuff that I wasn't used to using, and I left that.
What do you mean borrow stuff?
Like
I said, you can't give back those gels.
Yeah, I took them.
Yeah.
I took them. I said, give me that gel. I need some gel. I need some. And people were very good about giving me gels, but stuff you've never tried before. My pacer had some stuff too.
Right.
And I'm like, I was like 5 miles later going,
gurgle.
Yeah, that's not stuff I'm used to.
Right.
So what I've done now is I do my aid station bags, but my crew has like a spare bag.
Gotcha.
And they just take it to every single aid station because sometimes you don't know as a runner what you're going to be in the mood. You can plan all day long.
Right.
You can have stuff at mile 50, mile 60, mile 80, and it's like, I got 2 of these, 1 of these, but you get there and none of it sounds good.
I think one thing that you maybe can think about is, now the reason I'm saying this is because I'm thinking back when I paced Casey Lish at Wasatch years ago. Her crew was Phil Mendoza.
Okay.
And he had a big Tupperware container
of
just random stuff that she thought she might need other than her drop bag stuff. And it was easy for him to carry it from the car to the aid station.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a big deal. I mean, if you don't have, the big bumper like Lane does, and he can just plop that baby wherever he wants for the most part, and you huff it in half mile.
Yeah.
Make it easy on your crew person.
Throw it in a backpack even.
Yeah, backpack or a little Tupperware, just 12 by 12 Tupperware. That'll get you what you need.
And because we've kind of gone down this road, Lane, you've crewed Tara, you've crewed Debbie, but when you crew, right, you're there for that runner. It doesn't stop there.
No, and that was something I was going to talk about. This goes back into the building relationship and building friends, right? So last year at the Bear when I was crewing Tara, there was a group out here from Steamboat. So Amanda Grimes, her husband, her crew, I believe her name was Jenny Fox. And they were out there, and they just happened to be flip-flopping with Tara, right, the whole time.
Right.
And I remember we were up at, I want to say it was Franklin Basin.
Right.
And we were wondering, where are these folks at? They're both running, and they've been within 5 minutes of each other. They're about an hour late. What's going on? And Amanda had come in right before Tara did, and her feet were sausage. I mean, there was nothing left. And she's like, do you guys have, I need this, I need that. And I said, hold on, let me go get Debbie's foot box.
Right.
So she always has a foot box. And that was something I was going to talk about in a minute is, what type of things should you bring to be prepared?
Right.
But a foot box is something that's crucial because the one thing you need a lot of stuff, but if your feet are gone, you're gone, right?
Yeah.
Tara struggled with that last year because she took some advice.
Bacon feet.
Bacon feet.
So she took some, bacon feet. She took some advice to put Glide in her socks.
Right.
And it murdered her toes, right?
Yep.
And unfortunately, this is part of audibling at a race is prepare to not be prepared because everything changes, right? So getting back to the helping everybody and just, being friends and, 2 years ago at the Bear, we had this guy, I don't remember his name, but his mom and dad, they drove out from California, right? And he was probably in his 40s. His mom and dad were in their 60s, whatever. And he came into the aid station, and he's like, I have hot spots all over my feet. I'm starting to blister. What's the first aid station at the Bear? When you come over the hill and drop down where your crew can be, right in that valley.
Oh,
and you kind of make that hard left.
Yeah, up the road,
it's
right?
not Crowley, is it? Or right-hand fork?
Well, I want to say
No.
Leatham.
Leatham Hollow.
Leatham Hollow,
Hollow, yes. So they're parked right next to me at Leatham Hollow. I got my table out with the water. I got my grill going. I'm making my French press coffee. People are coming over. We're just having a dandy time like we do when we're crewing, right? Having fun. And he comes running in, and I could see worry in his face. And I don't know this guy from, Adam. I have no clue who he is. And I hear his mom say, what's going on? He's like, well, my feet are blistering already. And I drove all the way out here. I was really looking forward to this race, but I'm over. And I said, hey, not to jump in, but have you ever heard of Squeaky Cheeks, right? And I'm not pimping Squeaky Cheeks by any means.
Nope.
But I don't care what kind of powder it is for your feet, but I just said, have you heard of this? Because I know it works for everybody, for everyone that I know, Debbie and you guys, it just works, right?
Right.
So I said, have you ever heard of this? He said, no. I said, well, let's powder your feet up. Let's get your socks off. So we pulled them off, powdered his feet up. We actually threw some Ingigis on him, and he had never run with those. I had an extra set of mine, right? Powdered him up. We threw him on, and out he went. Sure enough, dude finished a race, and he came up to me. He remembered me. He came up to me at the end and gave me a hug and said, I never would have finished it without that Squeaky Cheeks, right?
See, that's awesome.
And that's kind of cool because he's out here from California. It's all one big happy family up there. And then with Amanda last year, same things. Her feet were huge old blisters. I mean, they were like she had blisters the size of a hot air balloon, right? And they're popping them and squirting everywhere. People are hitting the deck like there's juice all over the place, right? So I grabbed Debbie's foot box and we cleaned them all up and the alcohol wipes and got the blister Band-Aids on them and then Squeaky Cheeks her feet. She had never used it before, right? I'm like, hey. You're at, what is it, mile 40 or 50? I don't even remember, 60
Franklin,
something, right?
60, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, let's try to get to the last bit of this race. And sure enough, we powdered her up, out she went. And, now we're Facebook friends, and we're like, hey, what's going on at Steamboat? And, you come out to run about Rabbit Run. So it's just, part of building that relationship. It's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you see that a lot because I've had people help me in races that I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
And vice versa. I've helped people that, whether it's grabbing them a cup of soup, whether it's, something basic to something even over the top. And sometimes it's that knowledge and experience. Like, by no means am I some professional runner, but I've been around long enough to kind of know what can work and what can't work.
Right.
Because everybody's different. But
Going
maybe
through
it's
that list in your head.
was it ginger ale? Is it a ginger chew? Is it a peppermint, mint? Is it whatever?
Well, if it's Ty Draney, is a blueberry Red Bull.
Yeah.
Remember when he ran the 200 Bear?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Started the day before everyone, ran to the start, and then slept for like 4 hours, ran back.
Yeah.
And
I still haven't forgiven him for that because he
telling
kept
you, man.
passing me on his second
Yeah,
100.
he's a rock star,
Oh, my
right?
gosh. That infuriated me. I love the guy to death. And I'm like, dude, you've already run 150 miles and you're passing me. Stop.
He rolls into Beaver Mountain, and he sees me. He's like, Lane, you got a blueberry Red Bull, man? And I'm like, this is what we're talking about right now, right? A blueberry Red Bull. Like, you're 150 miles into this battle, or 175, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
Just murdering the race, killing it like a boss like he does. And I'm like, no, I got a cranberry. He's like, whatever, let's do it. He pounds it, and out he goes. I mean, it's funny. And we still talk about that to this day. And how delirious does he have to be at 175 miles, still up in the top pack of runners.
Right.
And he's, we still talk about that, right?
Well, and when I saw him at on his way back at Tony's Grove, he was still smiling and just the same old Ty.
And he was talking after you come out of Oh man, what's the one after Crowley? It's one of the. It's like
right hand.
It's like right hand fork, something like that. I was in front of him at that point, and you do that kind of boring road section.
Yeah.
And it's hot out there. I was getting beat down. I think his daughter was pacing him at that point, and they were talking up a storm behind me. I was hurting so bad. I was so mad that they were behind me talking up a storm.
Joel's like,
They were so happy. But after you get done with that road section, you get down this awesome creek down there, and the water's so cold. They're down there splashing and having fun in the water. I'm just all grumpy because it was hot. I'm just so mad that he was passing me again.
well, that's what happened to you. We did speed goat one of the first years we'd met. We were coming up the climb out of Mary Ellen's, and I was in that little creek, and you came passing me, and because it was hot.
The very first year?
Yeah, speed
like
goat.
the first year. We were coming up the ridge.
Yeah.
You and Phil were coming up the ridge.
Well, we were going up that one long climb, and it had that little water runoff coming down. It was super hot, and I was off to the side kind of taking a little
that was
bit.
like the second year.
Was it? And you came by all, hey, what's up?
Yeah, we came
pumping
up
this
Mary
hill, and
Ellen.
I'm like, "Sheesh,
That's
sucker,
right,
just
man.
go."
We kept getting in the creek, didn't we?
Yeah,
that was hot.
and I don't
That's
think
when
you were.
went up Mary Ellen. Now
Yeah,
you go down that thing.
Yeah, that was steep.
See, this is how we know you got high maintenance, because then it was we're getting in the creek.
Yeah.
2 years ago, it's someone's giving you a sponge bath at the top of the hill to cool you off.
That's right.
That's another story.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's.
No, I gave the sponge bath.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, you did give.
I was
sponge
the
bath.
I was
That's
the
right.
giver.
So
The
either
giver.
way,
That's
you knew-
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
I was working at a volunteer.
Now this was at Speed
Yeah.
Goat.
So I was
It
breaking
was.
out the robot
Yeah.
at the top of the hill with the Red Bull truck, kind of.
And I was sponge bathing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were. It was hot. I'm not gonna lie.
It
It
got
got
real
those
heat.
were free
Yeah.
baths too.
They
by
were.
the
I
way.
didn't charge. Yeah, it was all game. Another topic here, because this happened to me my first time crewing, and I didn't know what to do, and I had high hopes. Right, I crewed the Bear one year, and I'm like, the Bear. For those that don't know, super crew friendly. Like you don't drive but a couple miles to each aid station where they're running 10 and you're driving 2.
Right.
So you got downtime, and so I thought, God, I'm gonna fish Logan River. Right, it's right up there. I'm taking my fishing pole because you have downtime. I got hours of that. I
Right.
never fished one time, and I was busy the whole time.
Yeah.
So what do you do, Lane? I mean, we call it downtime because your runner leaves. Okay, you got to pack up and get stuff ready to go. What do you do? I mean, you got 2 hours, 3 hours to the next aid station.
So for me, there's no downtime either, right? The Ogden Trail crew, the posse up here, trail runners, is big. And even Utah, like even the guys down in Salt Lake that come up, we know them all. We're one big happy family for the most part.
Yep.
And kind of where everybody's at because you've been watching them come in. So the minute your runner leaves, you're either helping people before your runner comes in, or you're helping people after they come in.
Yeah.
Because some of them up there just have pacers or they're trying to run it crewless, and because
Right.
people do that all the
yeah.
time. Phil Lowry comes running in, trying to mark the trail. We're helping him, right? Waiting for Debbie and all these people. And so I would say there is no downtime, but you have to make it a point to get some sleep. The very first race Debbie ran her 100, I didn't sleep at all.
Right.
It was 30 some hours. I think it was 32 or 33 or something like that. And driving home, I don't know how we lived.
I've
don't
heard
know
some
how you
stories
got
about
home.
this.
Yeah,
You're hallucinating.
That was when I saw a Christmas present
Yeah.
in the freeway in Highway 84 Canyon heading back to Mountain Green.
Yep.
Literally saw it and was like, that's really weird.
Since it's September.
Yeah. Hey, straight up, Christmas present. Red, green ribbons. I still remember that.
That's when you're
And I
waking
was
up
like,
Debbie. Debbie, did you see that?
As we bounce off of the guardrail, essentially, clang, and then the Christmas present goes away, and I'm back to just driving home. But we were 5 minutes from home from them, but so I recommend getting some sleep. Last year, when I was crewing Terra, I made it a point to sleep.
You were sleeping at Franklin when I got there.
Yeah,
So
I
I was going to pick up Misty and run with her over to the lodge, and you were like zonked out in the back of the truck.
Yeah, that was when I did the cab dance is
Yep.
what I call it. So I started in the front with the seat all the way back, my feet up on the dash, right? Yeah, this is where yoga pays off if you're a crew guy, right? Or gal. And then I kind of tried to lay across the center console. It wasn't so ergonomic. And then I jumped in the back seat with all the crew crap, pushed it on the floor, and that didn't really work. Next thing you know, I'm laying diagonal across the floor. In the meantime, I have a subfloor under my topper in the back of my truck, but I didn't get back there because it was cold and I was being high maintenance. So I had my truck running. My carbon footprint was on point. You know what I'm saying? I was burning some fuel.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah.
So what would you say, because you've kind of mentioned a few things, what would you say is the hardest part of crewing, the most difficult part of crewing?
For me, it's keeping on time with your runner. Because I said earlier, be prepared for your preparations to change or something like that. And
Right.
it sounded cool. It was like one of those great Chuck Norris quotes, right?
Yeah.
Chuck Norris can throw a grenade and kill 5 people, and then the grenade explodes, something like that.
Yep.
So I would say something I have learned over the years of crewing people is I now take my phone and I open the notes section. So I have a pace chart that's crucial to know each aid station, how many miles between each one, when the crew runner, how long it should take them to come in, what time you expect them in, and what time you expect them out. All of those things on a pace chart.
Right.
I don't know if you've talked about doing pace charts yet or not.
Not yet.
No, we haven't yet.
But I would say that's something that's crucial to building, because having a crew and following a pace chart is huge. Maybe throw one up on the website for people to see an example of.
That would be good.
But what I do now, which is something I've learned, is you're always trying to remember. You're like, okay, so what time did they come through right-hand fork? I think it was like 11:22.
Right.
So I guess they'd be here in maybe 2 hours. So let's plan for that, right? And
Right.
then you realize you're completely off because you forgot what time it was. So I open the notes section of my phone. And I say Lethem Hollow, 8:05.
Right.
And then I look at the pace chart and said, okay, it said based on the time and climb and vert and, the calculation and time, the difference in their speed per mile, they're going to be here at this time. So then
Right.
I will expect that. And then I know, because then it could change. Your feet get blown up or you have bad, hydration. Or you don't have salt. You're having a bad section, right? You're in
Right.
your low point. It takes longer. Then I throw that on my pace chart, and now I know. So I'm tracking,
Right.
the difference in my runner, because it's hard. If you don't do that, then you stress the whole time, and then when you're stressing, you don't know when your runner's going to be there, and then you don't sleep.
Right.
Right. So that's something that I've learned is time management and eating.
Oh yeah, eating's good too.
Eating's crucial for the crew. Bring crew food, right?
Right.
You don't think about that. You're like,
Yeah.
got runner food, got aid station stuff. Give me my grilled cheese, right?
Okay, that's a question then. What is in your quiver? Your top 5 crew foods.
Oh man, that's tough.
You just get 5 choices.
So it used to be Monster before I quit drinking Monster, even
Monster
though that's
drinks.
not food.
Okay.
But now it's by 5. I don't know if you guys have had that or not.
No,
I mean,
Dude,
heard of
is
it.
it?
Man, I'm telling you, it's a sparkling water. Hold on, I brought one.
He's got one with him,
got
one.
folks.
Yeah, my backpack.
He's
Stand
got a
up, let me pull it
backpack
out.
in the bus. He's got one.
Oh, you know what? I left it in my truck.
Oh.
So what it is it's a sparkling water that has like 45 grams of natural caffeine in it.
Oh my
And it doesn't have any sugars. It doesn't have any, like all that crap that's in Diet Coke. So I quit drinking, soda and stuff over the holidays. Still holding strong. It wasn't a New Year's resolution because I did it the second week of December. So
Right.
I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah.
Y'all talked about that a couple podcasts ago.
That's right. Don't be that guy.
But that stuff's awesome. So it's some sort of an energy something, right? And then I always bring my my portable grill with me, and I cook bacon.
Wow.
So bacon for the crew food, but not only bacon for the crew food, but bacon for the runners,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They love it.
They
That
do.
actually is what got us in trouble a couple years ago. No, I wouldn't say trouble, but got us volunteered to help Ty out at El
Right.
Vaquero, right?
That's right.
So we went up there because we had a lot of Hummers running El Vaquero Loco.
Right.
And we went over to the
turnaround,
25K
yep.
turnaround, right? And I backed my truck up. I pulled it out, and I had everybody's food. People were like, hey, here's my chips, and here's my this. And me and Steve Montano, we went out, and we had breakfast in town right there.
Right.
And they gave us like 6 pounds of bacon.
Nice.
One side, 6 pounds of bacon. It was
Yeah.
awesome. So I ended up having a bunch of extra bacon, and we put it all out on trays. And Ty came in. He's like, "Man, you guys run a rockin' aid station. Oh, this is just for our people." Next thing you know, runners are like passing the aid station and coming to us, grabbing crap off the end of the truck. So the following year, we actually ended up helping Ty run the aid station.
Right.
But so hot food is crucial because you're out there all night, and chips.
Right.
Right. We say chips, but most of the time that's runner food that
Right.
the crew just eats.
Yep.
But you don't want to take food away from the aid stations. That's what's crucial.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they plan for exactly what they need. They'll
Right.
run out. So just being smart about what you want before you go out there. What's your top 5? I probably only labeled 3.
Probably. For crewing, I think I always have to have something a little sweet, whether it's like little licorice. I like licorice.
Oh yeah,
but it's
like
got to be
Twizzlers?
like red, even those funky new Australian ones with the blueberries and the blackberry flavors and apple.
oh yeah.
So I like licorice to have something sweet. You got to have some salt, so some type of chips.
Right.
I just learned about Korean barbecue chips,
Oh,
which
we
now
had those
moved up
last
my
night.
yeah
Yeah,
last
we're
night
good.
we
Like
had some of those.
bulgogi.
So
Yeah.
those moved up my list.
Good.
I think
Yeah.
more along the lines of snack food. Sunflower seeds, they're always in the quiver. I mean, you got to have those. They keep you awake too. But
Yeah, they're always all over my floor. Every time I come back, I clean my truck out. I have about 5
Seeds.
pounds of seeds and chips and everything else you can imagine. There's no beer cans because that's not cool.
yeah,
They're in the back of the truck.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, as a crew member, that's very critical is you're so focused on your runner, preparation for your runner, times, everything else. You can't neglect yourself.
You got to take care of yourself because you can't take care of your runner.
Yeah, if you can't take care of yourself, your runner's trouble.
Right.
And the other thing that I think Lane touched on really well is, as a crew member, you don't want to take aid station stuff. That's for the runner and the pacer. Yeah, if they offer and they're overstocked, and some of those aid stations you get into and they just got a lot going on.
They do.
But I
pancakes,
think,
right? Quesadillas up there at Tony's, and
yummy.
I mean, just.
But you got to plan for yourself, and you got to plan ahead, because there's a lot. Because Lane's touched on this parts of things going wrong for your runner, you know, whether it's feet or hydration or low points. But then there's also the flip side to that, which I think we've all experienced, is when your runner is on point and maybe ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because you always think, hey, if they say they're going to be there at 11, that doesn't mean be there at 11, right?
That means be there at 10.
It means be there as soon as you leave the other aid station.
Pretty much.
Go directly there. Don't waste any time.
And that's where you have the downtime. Yeah. And I learned that, and I did. But you get there early, and if you can help somebody else, like Lane said, get to know people, because he did touch on it, and I know people listen to this, thank you, all over the U.S. and the world. We have such an awesome group here in Utah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got the Wrangler group. That's primarily in the Salt Lake area.
Well,
that's the big.
I think that's like that
statewide.
Covers most of the state.
Yeah, there's people not inside the state that are even part of it because they come to visit and everything. So that's like a huge group, and it's people know each other. There's the Hummer group, which Happy Utah Mountain Runners. So we've got groups here in Utah that get along really well. So when you see them at these races, you're always there to help them out.
Yeah.
Right. And there's always like, you've got your different segments. You got the faster group, you got the middle of the pack group, and then you got, maybe the tail end of the group, and you get to know those people even better.
Right.
Right. So,
I mean, we have a standing joke now with, you talk about people all over state, like Seth Hales down in Salt Lake, right?
Right.
One time he came running in, and I don't know if he was delirious or what, but they were laughing, and he said, someone, if they were smart, they'd open a Kneaders in Colorado, and they would sell weed French toast. So now every time I see him, I say, "Hey man, someone's gonna be ready for you one of these days." And he's like, "We gotta open it." So it's kind of the standing joke, but that's building a relationship with anybody. It's fun.
Yeah.
So we talked about some of the hard parts. What are the best parts of crewing? What are the high points?
Being the cheerleader.
Yeah.
Right. That's crucial.
It is.
So I remember when we went down to Moab, right? And I actually downloaded a bunch of crazy songs. So one of them, what was that? Crap, I can't remember. Anyways, we just downloaded a whole bunch of songs that we were blasting on my stereo as loud as we could whenever our runners would come in, and we have a ton of pictures out there on the Facebook page of runners like with their arms up trying to do the slow run across, even though it wasn't the finish line, but it was like the mile 17. We're out in the middle of nowhere on rocks, because we had wheeled my Land Rover in there to kind of be a remote aid station for people.
Right.
But just stuff like that's what's fun, and everything ties back to relationships, even if it's because of a bad situation or a good situation, but it's part of the tight-knit community that's the trail running community.
Right.
So even if you're not a trail runner like me, right, I like to mountain bike a little bit. I tried to run a couple times. I broke my foot a few years ago, but that I talked earlier about realizing the runner, you guys make it look so easy. Right. After literally, I watch you race after race after race, and you're like, I don't know how they keep doing this. They look great. They're done. They hang out. They drink some beers. They eat ice cream. Whatever. They get in their car and they drive home.
Right.
Which is another important point of being careful when you're driving home. We lost somebody in the community last year to
that's
that.
Right. At the end of the Wasatch, that guy was driving back to
California. And he ran into a semi, which is it's heartbreaking and sad. But it's just being the cheerleader and having fun, and we would talk about Speed Goat. Having fun. We had the Red Bull truck up there. Carl did it right. They're jamming out, and he's stereo. They could probably hear it in Provo, right?
Yep.
And we're up there doing the robot, just breaking it down.
You're breaking it down
getting
big
crazy.
time.
And I think Dan Frey was, slapping me around a little bit, and that's on Facebook somewhere. But it's just having fun and just being there and enjoying the situation in the outdoors. I mean, really, that's what it's about.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you did start running, I think you'd have a lot of people that would volunteer to crew for you.
Oh,
probably.
Definitely.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that, though. I ran like a mile last year on the treadmill. I'm like 9/10 and I'm spitting, trying to finish. And I'm just
look like a rabid
someone
dog.
give me a gel so I can gag all over the place. Yeah, muscle
like,
through the gag reflex. But
this is what it's about.
And I'm
right?
like, wow, they really do hide this because they make it look really easy, even if they're at mile 90. So.
Well, then another good one is you see it all the time. I've experienced it because I've had crew, I've had pacers, and probably is a little more sensitive when you're talking spouse, right? Crewing one way or another.
Yeah.
When the going gets tough, okay, your runner is down. They're just ready to drop. They're ready to call it in. They've got that bad attitude. As a crew member, you talked about your job is to be a cheerleader, but you also have to kind of be careful, right? I mean, for example, you crew Debbie. You know, you guys go home together later, and I know Debbie and most of the time crew members and runners have a good relationship. You know, it's like you don't take it personal. But when your runner comes in, they're hashed, they're ready to call it a day. At that point, what do you do? Because, you know, you're there to help and support.
So there's some strategy to that, right? If you're not thinking if they want to call it a day, but there's strategy to not let them get to that point. So park your vehicle as far away from the aid station as you can. Seems like a good idea to be close, but as the race gets farther out, park farther away, right? It's kind of, if you start watching, you can see that I do that.
Right.
So at the beginning of the race, like, you know, we're coming to Lethem, I'm right next to the aid station truck, everything's out, ready to go. By the time they get up to Beaver Lodge, I'm parked like on the lower section where you're coming up like the creepy Blair Witch Project Woods, like right up that last, it's just dark as crap. I mean, I'm out there, I'm freaked out. You know, I got my 9mm on my hip just in case. You know, you never know. Not because of runners, because of bears or whatever else, or that one creepy guy that's running with Joel's magazine with the beaver badger chasing him. But I'm always packing heat just in case. But park farther away so that when they get tired and whoopy and they don't want to stop or they want to stop and drop out, they can't because all their stuff is away from the aid station. It's not warm. Right. It's not comfortable. They're not sitting down. Yep. And that was actually something I learned from Debbie because she had heard it from all of you all as mentors to, hey, what do I do with my first race? And you said, don't go in the aid stations, right, in the middle of the night. Stay outside where it's cold.
So there's a tent, stay away from. There's a fire, stay away from it.
And then the other thing that works is pull out the magic happy food, right? What takes them to the happy place? So I actually brought some stuff in my bag, right?
Okay, folks. So Lane brought a bag. So he said, "Go ahead, you tell him."
Well, I was just going to. It depends on who the runner is.
That's right.
So the reason I have the bag here is I did if your runner forgot to tell you were crewing them and it was the day of the race and you had 15 minutes to leave, I just threw a bunch of crap in my bag that I would have as crucial stuff. But going back to the happy food, so it depends on who the runner is and what they want.
I'm excited
so
to see this.
If it's Brian,
man.
right? Hear that?
Yeah.
I have Cadbury mini eggs, right?
Nice.
If she gets down, boom, I'm throwing mini eggs at her.
That's right.
And I'm actually
literally
I'm throwing them at her, and then I save some so she can eat them.
Yep.
But it's the morale boost of I'm going to be mean to you. And she actually gave great advice too about runners and what you do and what you do with them when they're coming into the aid station. And she said you have to be the ass, right?
Yeah.
You have to say, hey, you've been here 5 minutes, get out. That's where it gets sticky with like your spouse because Debbie's like, you're being mean.
Yeah,
quit being mean to everybody. And I'm like, well, Brian told me to, so it's okay.
Throwing it back on. Brian said so.
Yeah,
nice deflection.
Hashtag Brian said, right? So I'm like, hey, when we're running aid stations, everyone knows, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Don't hang out. Don't camp out because if you think about it, there's 10 aid stations or 12 aid stations, and if you're spending 30 minutes in each one of those aid stations, that's hours and hours added to your clock at the end of the race.
Right.
And if you're in a situation like Deb last year at the race she ran up in Idaho, she was 28 miles in or something like that, and she's ahead of her pace by quite a bit.
Right.
But it wasn't I'm rushing ahead of my pace. It's I'm feeling good. I'm having one of those days. And the next thing you know, she hooked her foot. She tore the ligament in the top of it. You know, her leg's full of blood, and she doesn't have an extra 2 hours to finish. She finishes with 10 minutes left, right? Because I always call her the stubborn ass. She's going to be mad at me for saying it on this, but because you are bound and determined to finish your goal, whether your goal is to just finish or whether your goal is to place, it doesn't matter. It's your personal goal.
Right.
But hers is I'm finishing this damn thing because I came out here.
Right.
So, Debbie's happy food is an avocado.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you bring an avocado?
I saw that.
Let me get in here.
Is it soft enough
So
to eat right now?
I saw
real
this
deep in this bag.
at the Rain Bear.
Yeah.
At mile 75. So I got into 75. I was done.
And that
I was
goes back
cooked.
to
And I saw this happen. He pulls out an avocado, and Debbie's yelling at me, "Just tear it apart!" And I'm like,
And I
"What do you mean, just tear it apart?" And then Lane pulls out his knife,
Which
not
he just
not
did
the
just
knife,
now.
but the knife, and he's like cutting this
He's
avocado
scoring
up.
the top of the avocado.
that's
I'm
right.
watching him score the top of the avocado.
One of you guys are going to take a hit of this.
I'll
right?
hit it. Oh,
See
look at
that? So it's like a delicious morsel of
greenness.
green.
Oh,
Look at
so
that.
yummy.
And you could even squeeze that.
Hey, don't suck this. Yeah, so that's what Debbie said.
She does.
Pop the top off and then just squeeze it right out of there. Just
Look at that. Here we go.
Squeeze it. Get it.
Oh, careful.
Oh, solid.
Good thing I know the Heimlich.
That one's a little brown inside. Sorry.
That's all right. That actually gave me a boost, so thank you.
Bam. So that's her happy food. So it
Right.
just depends on what your runner's happy food is. But then the other crucial thing is bring a lot of happy food.
Yeah.
Because once other runners see that that's their happy food. So Missy Burkle a couple years ago was running El Vaquero. Eric's just murdering this avocado.
It's such
right
a
now.
good avocado.
It's literally just, he's on point, right?
I missed breakfast.
So Missy a couple years ago came running in El Vaquero, and we're at the other half of the aid station.
Right.
And she's like, "It's not my day. I'm not feeling it. I need some help." And same with Sophia Lowry. She did the same thing when she was running her first one. Right? She was hurting. The family was there helping her because they're real tight,
Yep.
And I forced her to eat an avocado.
Right.
Eat it. Eat the avocado. Debbie said it's the best
I'm
thing
eating
ever.
it right
right?
now. Oh, not
eat
me.
it.
Not
Do
me.
it. And Missy killed it. And then I talked to Missy after. Missy's like, that was amazing. It actually saved my race.
Yeah.
Because it gave me the boost because I couldn't keep anything down. I couldn't keep anything in my stomach.
Right.
So it just bring enough for everybody because you never know. Other people are going to start saying, "Hey, I need some help," or "Hey, you know what? Try this because it may work for you." Who knows? You never know in the situation with what your gut feels like. Eric's still murdering this thing
I'm
right
going to
now.
put it down for a minute, though, 'cause I'm getting to the seed.
So should we get back to this? We have.
Let's just bust out the bag. What you got in the bag?
I'm gonna just reach in and pull stuff out.
Pull something out.
So you're going to a race. You have 15 minutes. I just said, what are a couple crucial things you should grab? So I'm gonna reach down in here. Let's see what we got. Oh, there we go. First thing,
Flashlight.
flashlight and headlamp. Right. Not only for your runner but for the crew.
That's
when
a
you're
good
out
flashlight.
Oh, yeah. When
It
you're
is.
crewing, you need a flashlight, folks. Or a headlamp, too.
It's not bad to have both, though,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, when you're out there in the middle of the night. And generally your headlamp turns into somebody else's headlamp.
Yeah, that's right.
As a crew, right? You
Yep.
may have it, but you don't care who it is. You're willing to give it to them. I think
Yep.
I've donated a couple headlamps to people out of state, but I really don't care.
So we got headlamps, we got avocados, we got
I got
mini
a Lunchable.
Cadbury.
I got a Lunchable in here. That's gas station crew food.
That's a Lunchable.
Right?
It's
Yeah, some-
turkey and cheddar.
I don't know if it's cheddar, but it's plastic.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
a crew. That's a necessity
got?
here. So he's got
Oh,
something else.
I grabbed the water bottle.
It's a little
because-
teeny 10 ounce.
Yeah.
That's
bottle.
like a Nathan
So the
bottle.
reason I
Yeah.
grabbed that is because you need to have extra bottles and generally water ready, right?
Right.
Because a lot of times when you're grabbing water or when your crews or when your runners are grabbing water, some of those aid stations that are out there, they're filling it out of the creek and they're putting, stuff in there. And if you're later in the race, whatever they're putting in to neutralize it can mess up your stomach.
Right.
So a lot of times runners are like, I can't drink any more of this. This smells like bleach, or this is,
Right.
Sometimes they put orange scent in there to help, stuff like that. But I always bring 2 gallons of water with me.
Right.
And then it's always gone by the end because I'm filling, everyone else's
Everybody else. That's
stuff.
a good idea.
And then making sure you know what your runner wants for their electrolyte,
Right.
right? So is it EFS or what is
Salt
it?
tabs, something like that.
What are you
Yep.
putting in there? Actually, we'll get to that one. So here I got a Ziploc bag with gels and like a waffle thing in there and
Batteries.
Batteries are crucial,
Yep.
right?
Extra
Your checklist,
batteries.
put batteries on there. 'cause-
Lots of batteries.
Yep, so-
Not just for your runner, but for everybody else's runner.
Yep.
Oh, a koozie. I got a koozie. You
It's
gotta
not,
keep your
there's
drink
nothing in
cold.
it, though.
Yeah, well,
That's kind of a bummer.
So,
but yeah, he's got a koozie.
got
Yep.
a koozie because you're going to probably have a couple beverages,
Yep.
adult or not, whatever. You got to keep it cold.
What else?
Wipes,
Ooh.
flushable, moist towelettes.
Those are staying in the bus, I'm afraid. We're going to
yeah.
put them right here.
So
Nice.
crucial. I don't know how many times I had to donate a sock or a sleeve.
Yeah,
to
we'll stick
somebody.
to the baby wipes,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
a little
always-
more
yeah.
important.
You always go with the sleeve first.
Yep.
If you have a short sleeve shirt on, just whack a sleeve off and then go with the
Because
sock.
you definitely don't want to do wool socks.
Let's see here.
For the runners.
Yeah.
Oh,
Safe.
Fireball. I brought a mini bottle. Yeah, this is crucial, not just for the crew, but for the racer. Right? A lot of
true.
times, they're hitting. If Harry's running in, I'm giving him a gin and tonic. Right?
Yeah, pretty
Mile
much.
50, he's already switched over to pure Coke to finish. Gin and tonic. Here you go, man. Got a little lime in there, a little citrus. That's what we're rolling with. Let's see here. What else? Oh, so I brought a watch, a spare watch.
Extra GPS
So,
watch.
Yeah, and even if it's not an extra GPS watch, it's a charger that you can hook the watch to. So
Oh,
either
okay.
you can zip tie it together and stick it in their bag so it's charging and still calculating their miles
Right.
while they're going 1-2 hour aid station or something.
Huh.
Or you can charge it every aid station for
Right.
that 10 minutes they're there and try to keep it going.
Gotcha.
Let's see. What else we got? Oh, this is the med bag.
Oh, the med
Right.
bag.
Right.
So I got some ibuprofen in here. Allergy pills.
Oh,
so
yeah. Good. Go
bee
ahead.
sting. Hey,
Yep.
sorry, they don't have an EpiPen, but here's
No.
an
Here's
an
allergy
allergy
pill.
pill.
Maybe this will help you. Take 3 of them.
I think when you're out there, you're inhaling a lot of dust.
Yeah.
I think later in the race, that really starts to affect you.
Yeah.
And having that allergy pill, that might knock it down a little bit. That's a really
right.
good idea.
Ibuprofen.
Yeah.
But be careful, right? As a
Yeah,
crew,
gotta be careful.
I try to pay attention to Debbie's pill bag, saying, okay,
Right.
how many of these did you take?
Right.
How many of this did you take a Percocet or
Right.
what
She's
did
got
you
a little
take?
pill pouch.
That's
what
right.
She has.
And there's a pill pouch in this bag
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Those
there
things
is.
are
That,
awesome.
So that little pill pouch is, so you know those, like, my grandpa is going to give
Yeah.
me some change.
Change.
He pulls his little doohickey out of his pocket.
Yeah.
Fill those with S-caps, and then fill another one with, whatever else that you need to take with you.
Right.
And then when she runs in, I have a spare already filled with S-caps. I throw it in her pouch, and she's out.
Right.
But I'm also paying attention to how many meds she's taken or whatever else is gone. Gels,
Yep.
stuff like that. Okay, let's see here. Oh, 5-hour energy. This will help you get home if you have to. When does that
As a
expire?
driver.
I think
It's
we bought
not
that.
expired yet. It's 16. You got July
You
of
wanna-
this year.
You want to hit that with the
I'm not
avocado?
going to hit this
It's
right
great.
here. I'm good.
Go
You
I'll
gotta
mix
it
that
with
with the fireball. Yeah, there
in
we
your
go.
coffee. Okay,
Some guy
let's-
running through the
might
mountains
be
and
running
cut
low.
off
I
jean
think we're
shorts
about
here in a
out of
minute.
this bag. Yeah,
Nice one. Nice
Oh,
one.
yeah.
sunscreen,
Sunscreen.
crucial.
Yeah. Especially the spray one.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes
so
it gets
nice.
weird. Sometimes you're sunscreening,
Stranger.
strangers you don't know, and they're flinging their hair like they just got out of
Yeah.
the water. It gets hot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But that's part of the. That's part of
Sometimes
the,
you don't want the creepy
Yeah,
aid station guy rubbing you down with
Yeah,
the.
you'd rather
the-
have me do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's Lane.
Because Lane's
Hey,
not creepy,
No.
right?
No, get over here, guy with the soul patch.
That's right.
Your little Bitmoji, and let's do this.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a quick little recap. Here's what Lane brought in his
I have
crew
one more
bag.
thing.
Oh, he's got another.
One more.
This is a big bag. Sorry.
It is a huge bag. Actually, I have 2 more.
2 more. Yep, there it is.
Powder, squeaky cheeks.
Squeaky
right?
cheeks, which we use.
yeah.
We got a bottle here, and it stays in the bus
I
for,
saw that
for
when you
obvious
opened the
reasons.
drawer.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's I'm in love with this stuff.
Now, this one was the bear savior of last year. So I have this pretty dandy thing that I put in my truck. So the people that go overlanding, right? They do the 5 to 10 day, 20 day, 30 day treks out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Have these off-road fridge freezers, so they can
Right.
put all their cold food in there. Well, I have one that I bring to races.
He does.
And I froze at 1 degree last year. Freezer pops.
Like
Little
little Otter
Pops.
Pops
Yeah,
or Pedialyte
and I was
pops.
making it rain. I mean, people running
Yeah.
in. I'm like, boom, who wants Otter Pops? I don't
Yeah.
know. You people want Otter Pops? Let's do it. I had like 10. I ended up actually going back into Logan
Did you really?
and buying another package of them from the Walmart.
Yeah.
And I tossed them in the cooler and I got them frozen. And then at the end of the race, I had ice cream sandwiches at the end of the bear.
Oh.
And, just like throwing them out. Hey, who wants ice cream?
Yeah.
This is why the crew's here, to make you happy.
And for those that are listening to this podcast and getting super excited, I've already locked down Lane for the bear this year. So
There you go.
if you're looking for a crew member, he's off the market.
And
so
if you
don't even
notice,
try.
that pop you're looking at is a Pedialyte
Pedialyte.
pop. So you're not only getting a freezer pop that tastes like delicious whatever, you're getting some electrolyte jammed in there
That's a
with
good
you,
idea.
right?
I think that's something
So-
you guys really need to take away. Those
Yeah.
people who are listening out there.
Yeah.
Get the Pedialyte pops.
yeah. Have some use for it, not just the flavor and all
last
that
but not
sugar.
least, the
Bottle opener.
Bottle
He's
opener.
got a bottle opener.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
quick rundown of the essential crew bag. We've got a bottle opener. We've got a 5-hour energy drink. We've got a mini bottle of Fireball cinnamon whiskey. We've got a Pedialyte pop, a koozie, sunscreen, a Lunchable, wet wipes, headlamp flashlight, extra GPS watch, some med stuff. We got some ibuprofens. We've got some allergy Band-Aids. We've got gels. Extra batteries are huge because if you don't,
Yeah.
your crew doesn't use them, someone else's will.
Yep.
Every year, someone's missing
always
out on those.
happens.
So these are some huge things just to have, even if they're not on your list, to have with you. So this is a great. I'm going to keep a couple of these. I think.
Yeah.
to
Like I said,
keep
that
in
was
the
a
bus.
fast. I'm running out the door.
Right.
I haven't actually planned for this because if you're planning for it, you're packing things like, hey, because some people at mile 47.6, I want new socks
Yep.
and I want my other shoes.
Yep.
At mile 89, put my damn Hokas on me.
That's right.
Because I want to run on pillows
That's
until I
right.
finish this thing,
Mhm.
right? Some
I hear
people, like Debbie doesn't change her shoes. She
Right.
doesn't have foot problems. And she doesn't generally ever take her socks off.
Right.
Some people will clean their feet every aid station. Debbie is, I'm in, I'm out.
Right.
Let's roll. So it just depends on what your runner wants, but you'll learn that over time.
And the one I did forget, just because it's half gone and sitting over by me, is the avocado. So make
Oh, yeah.
sure you have avocado.
And the Cadbury eggs. We
Oh,
should
yeah.
break those open.
Avocados
Oh, yeah.
from
Yeah,
Mexico.
Cadbury eggs would be so
yeah,
good.
Cadbury eggs just look good. So
I
we'll,
was sitting
probably
on 'em, so
we'll
they're
probably
warm.
eat
They're
those. We'll probably eat those too. So,
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of how you have it with the crew stuff. We'll have some stuff on the website. Maybe we'll upload a pace chart just to have an idea of that. But
Yeah.
between crewing and pacing is just two very big, I don't say tools even, but boosts, helpers to help you through your race.
Right.
And everybody does things a little bit differently, right?
There was one thing I forgot.
What's that?
Imodium.
Oh yeah. Imodium
I don't know
AD.
how many times I hand out Imodium to people. They come in, they're just like, bubble gut is running rampant. They're like, I need something, hook me up. And I'm like, here, take this, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of tips from this as far as even coming into an aid station. A lot of it comes down to the runner. I mean, it's their race, so they might have an idea, but the newer runners, they may not know all the tips and tricks. And there's a lot more out there. I mean, these are just some for sure. And I know as a crew out there, you've got your own.
Yeah, I think we're kind of catering this show to more of the newbie kind of
what do I do?
Moderately experienced person. Those people are super experienced at this. They got dialed.
Oh, right? You see some of these. It's like a NASCAR.
It is.
It's like a stopping in. I mean, I've looked at some people running in, and I mean, they've got their stuff laid out.
Yep.
I mean, I was running Wasatch one year, the first aid station we got to. I just had a drop bag, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, Manners!" And I look up, and it's Rick Robinson, Scott Hyme's father-in-law.
Right.
He had my stuff laid out on the ground, spaced, and I'm like, "Whoa," and I knew exactly what I needed when I needed it. And he's he's never crewed me before, but he's done it so much. He's like, "Well, this will help," even though I don't know what he wants. But he's like, "Make sure you got your gel, you got your salt tabs." So there's people out there that are dialed in NASCAR friendly.
Watching Anna Frost, right?
Oh yeah,
she runs a tight ship. Her mom and dad come rolling in the Mercedes, or the Dodge, Sprinter, whatever it is, but it's the big camper style, and they got the back all laid out. It's perfect. They pull out the table, they get all their stuff laid out. She comes running in, and they're running with her. Right? They got the stuff. She's in. She grabs a handful. She's out, and they're running behind her, handing her stuff. And then, Luke does the same thing. When Luke comes running in, his wife is even, she's pregnant, and, belly's sticking out. She's chasing his ass up the hill, handing him bottles, and he's like, "Here's my pack," and he's gone. I mean, and it's down to the point with some of them where it's, I want 3.2.5 ounces of water to my, this much, because they know, what your body wants. So it's a learning experience. You'll get there.
That's right.
So what we want to do now is, part of this beaver head, I think it'd be good. It's a contest.
It is a contest.
But you have to enter. So I think entering this contest, maybe, what do you think, Joel, about throwing out a crew tip?
That's a good idea.
Because there's a lot out there.
We want to make this accessible to everybody,
That's
right?
That's true.
So maybe somebody that wants to do the 100K and they've never done something that long and they've never had a crew before, they don't have a crew.
Yeah.
They've never had that experience. Oh, one thing we need to mention about the beaver head. If you enter the 100K, it looks like there's only one place for a drop bag.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I do too.
I love it.
Now, I could be wrong, but I was just looking at the chart the other day, and this right here is my type of race where you're pretty much on your own.
Yeah. Well, and we
awesome.
talked about that before too, is people saying using pacers, not using pacers, having a crew, not having a crew.
We can have another show on that.
We will.
But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that if you're going to enter this and you win that 100K entry,
and you want it, that's experienced runner type stuff.
This ain't no first 100K type of thing.
Yeah,
you better be experienced. 50K, that's fine. I don't think there was any drop bags on the 50K.
Well, 50K, you could use an aid station or use a pack.
Yeah, there's plenty of aid stations, but there's only one drop bag for the 100K.
Get your goods.
Yeah,
your change of clothes, your change of socks, change of shoes.
Grab your headlamp.
Yep. Yeah. Make sure you have that. Keep it with you.
Get your headlamp, folks.
So, Lane, thanks for joining us today, and thanks for the Fireball, the avocado, and some of this other stuff you're going to leave in the bus.
That's right.
You're welcome.
That Lunchables.
That's why I
come
brought
in
it.
handy.
That's right. So, we want to thank Lane for joining us. The rain has stopped. It's just a beautiful morning, crisp air. We're back in Studio 78, which is just feels right.
It does. Feels good.
I'm looking at Joel's Trail Manners Boco hat.
Yeah, it's
the one
comfy.
with the van on it, the baby blue with the
This
green.
is the first time I've worn it.
Is it?
It's so comfy.
It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks good.
I've been wearing it around the house with the tag on.
With your robe?
Yeah.
That's another show.
I've seen it on the webcam.
Yeah, that's right.
It's hot.
On the nanny cam?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got my house slippers, too.
I hacked it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a visual.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks, Lane, for joining
thank
us. And again, thanks for, you've helped all of us out in the races, and it's a good time for us to even say thanks for everything you've done for us, because I know it's not a thankless job, but crewing, pacing, that's a lot of work. It is a lot of stress.
Yep.
And again, you're not the one that's getting the plaque or the certificate or the
buckle
or the notoriety at the end, but without crew and pacers, a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people wouldn't get their goal either. So, it's critical, and I know you've helped I mean, loads of people. So thank you for that.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is good. I hope I can come back and maybe do some guest appearances.
Yeah,
just jump in and
that'd be fun.
Throw some awesome sauce on the bus.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what you bring in your goodie bag.
Yeah,
we might let you in the bus.
Every single time, I'll have a bag full of something different.
So we'll make you a little regular. What else we got, Joel?
I think is that it? Are we done?
I think so.
So episode 17's in the book.
It's in the book. Again, don't forget to look for us on Antelope Island. Reach out to us beforehand. Maybe slot some time in there. I'll be running 25K.
Yep.
We should have an over-under of my time. I'm definitely not trained for it. I've run the race like 6 times, the 25K, and I'm thinking I'll be over probably one of my slower times. But I'm hoping just to have fun.
That's right.
Hey, I'll be out there too. I'll be in a bright yellow Land Rover.
Yep.
So if you see me, grab me. You need something? Whatever, I'm there.
Well,
I'll help you out.
Just bring an avocado. Not that I would need it, but it probably just tastes good.
maybe I'll make an avocado gun, like a potato gun.
Oh, just shoot 'em.
Yeah, open your mouth up and whack. And then it'll hit you and it'll just peel the outside of the avocado off and all the deliciousness will go inside.
Right, that's seed.
Watch out for
the seed. Yeah.
The seed could take out a couple
It'll
teeth.
self-clearance.
Yeah.
So,
that's good.
yeah, look for us there. And again, don't forget to grab your gear, spread the love, take some shots with your Trail Manners stuff. Other than that, I think we're square away here.
I think so, too.
All right, let's go enjoy the day. Lane, thanks again.
Yep.
Joel, thank you. And Studio
thank you, fellas.
78, you've never looked more beautiful. So, signing off here, Trail Manners Podcast. Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners Podcast. We'd like to thank crewmaster Mr. Lane Farka for joining us today. We'd encourage you to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners. You can also swing by our page at trailmanners.com. We got lots of great gear, from hats to t-shirts to stickers, that you can represent Trail Manners Nation. You can also look us up on the contact page and let us know what you want to see, who you want to hear, or even if you want to be on the show. So until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.